Hello everybody, this is Tintin. Right now, let's do some knot tying action for the SPI program. First of all, let's start with the figure 8 family. Figure 8 skeleton. Figure 8 skeleton, pull some rope, and then for me, I just draw an 8, and so that's my figure 8 skeleton. Next, figure 8 follow through. So figure 8 follow through, we still want to do a figure 8 skeleton on the strand, and then pass through something, very commonly your harness, and you can see that this is narrow, this is wider, this is narrow, this is wider. We like to say go in hard, come out easy, which means I go in this side, go in hard, and then the trace is the same, and then come out easy. And the reason I do this is this make this knot super easy to dress. Next one, figure 8 on the bight. So you're getting a bight of the rope. So you tree 2 strand, that's 1 strand, and then I still just draw an 8. And this is going to be my figure 8 on the bight. Voila. A little variation from figure 8 on the bight is bunny ears. So still we have this loop, we have this bight, and then we tie figure 8 on the bight the way that we've been tying. But before we punch it through and form the figure 8 on the bight, we fold the thing and pass a bight through, and then this thing is 2 bight, and then cover is 2 bight, and then now these are your bunny ears. Do, voila. And then you can see this strand connect the 2 bunny ears. So if you pull this strand and make 1 ear smaller, you can pull 1 ear bigger. And this is very useful because sometimes that, for example, 2 pros, even though they are close together, they are not exactly that close. So, for example, this pro and then this pro. Then it would be nice that you know how to adjust the bunny ears. Now I need this one a little bit longer, so I adjust this shorter. And now you can see that by pulling that common strand, now this thing is like equalized. And this is bonus material, I'm gonna introduce this very useful way to tie the bunny ears. Is to trace the bunny ears. So let's move this thing a little bit out of the way. If you want to do bunny ear trace, you also need to get a figure 8 skeleton first, and then this one use quite a lot of material. So I'm going to get a very long tail. So first of all, one of the ring. And then we are gonna go in easy. Going easy. Now we create one of the ear and then trace this loop. And then I'm gonna come out hard. artificially make this a little bit longer so you know this is the common strand for the bunny ear. And then create another ear now. And then come back. All right, this is another ear. So now we just have to finish this 8. Okay, so you can see that this loop is the connecting loop. So I make this thing smaller, then I can make this thing bigger. Vice versa, make this thing smaller, I can make this thing bigger. So this is trace bunny ear. This is good when you have 2 rings, so this eliminates the use of carabiners. So the last knot in the figure 8 family is called the figure 8 bend, also called Flemish bend, is to join 2 ends together. So bend in the knot terminology is means join 2 ends together. So first, I tie a figure 8 skeleton. Figure skeleton. And then I got the other end of rope. All right, so I'm gonna come in hard. Means the narrower side. Trace and come out easy. All right, so this is Flemish bend. Now let's go on to the overhand family. So overhand, overhand. So this is overhand. Overhand on the bight. Overhand on the bight. Flat overhand is also a bend. So we join 2 ends together. So this knot is very interesting, is that you really need a good and long enough tail. So about a foot of tail. You tie overhand. And then when you finish tying the overhand, you hold this knot and pull for independent strand, tighten it. So this will be your flat overhand. Right now we are gonna tie the BHK, which is shorthand for big honking knot. Is where we usually create material redundancy. First of all, we need a lot of material. So you need a bight of rope, kind of long. And then you fold this bight of rope. And then you tie an overhand with it. Now you can see that here I got 2 loops. So that's why this I create material redundancy for the PowerPoint. And then be careful if this loop is really short and this thing has potential to pull through. Right now, this tail is sufficiently long. A lot of time, we if it's too short and we worry about the pass through, so we can first pass this loop through this two loop first, and then we'll clip our carabiner. So this way that this thing would not be able to go through the knot and go undone, or we just clip all 3 loops all together like this. Last thing on the overhand family, it's a knot that I don't really quite use. It's called a water knot. Usually we tie flat webbing with 2 water knots. And the reason I don't use it as often is because nowadays most of the webbings are saw webbing and sling. But if you want to connect flat webbing, you can use water knot, also called a ring band. Remember, the band means that to join 2 ends together. So we tie overhand on one side, overhand, overhand, and then you, from the other end, you start trace this overhand. So trace, okay, trace. And here you go. This is your water knot. Now let's tie some bowling. And bowling in SPI setting, we use a lot for tying a big boulder or tying a tree. So say this is a tree, and multiple ways to tie it. I still like to use the bunny. So say I'm tying around this tree, this tree. So this is my bunny. We call it the working end. So I'll flip a loop on this standing end. You can see the bunny side, the working ends on top, and then this loop is pointing inward, not like this way, so it's this way. And then this bunny, okay, come out of the hole. But the bunny is small, right? So you can jump over the tree. So you go under the tree and then go back to the hole. So this is our bowling. So you can see that this strand is gonna be the low strand. And then this thing is a slip knot, so you can see that it could like, and this thing can slip through. So in order to finish bowling, we need to tie a fisherman back up knot. Basically, we need to tie a back up knot. So how to tie a fisherman? So you can see that it's actually the same knot that we use to tie the end of the rope to close the cistern, which is also called the barrel knot. When I tie the barrel knot, so I'm right-handed, I hold this rope and I create an X, and then I come back and I'll go underneath the X and I pull it through, and you can see that one side is X, the other side is 2 parallel strands. So this is your fisherman. So come back to bowling. Let's tie bowling with fisherman back up. So you wrap around and create this loop with working on top and this loop pointing inward, and not like this way, not outward, so pointing inward. And then the bunny coming out of the hole, go under the tree, going back to the hole. And now we are going to tie a fisherman back up. Remember, we do a cross, and then keep wrapping to the side, and we go underneath the X. So the finished knot will look like this. And this is your low strand. And sometimes we might encounter that we use one end to tie the bowling, and then the other end is really far. So we can still use the middle of the rope to tie bowling, which basically form a bight. and treat this bight of rope as one strand of rope. So imagine, so this is your bunny, right? And then you still create a loop on the standing end. So the working end on top, loop pointing inward. And then the bunny coming out of the hole, go underneath the tree, and then coming back to the hole, right? So now you have 2 low strand. And then sometimes that you might not have enough material to tie a fisherman back up, but with this loop, you can clip this loop to this one of the strand of the bowling, and this way, this end is not gonna slip through. So this is also another effective way to back up bowling. All right, so fisherman can also be used to join 2 ends together. So to join 2 ends together using fisherman, first we point this 2 strands across, make it parallel, and then now we are going to start, say, the strand, and we are going to wrap around the strand and then create an X and come back to pull this through under the X like this. And then the other side, the same. And for me, I kind of like to flip it, make it easy for my visual. So I do the cross, wrap around the strand, and then I come back to go underneath the X to pull the strand. So now I create another fisherman. So this is called the double fisherman. So you can see that the end product is cross, 2 crosses on one side, and the other side is all parallel. And if you wrap one more wrap, then we'll become triple fisherman. So let's do it. So come back here. So I need a little bit longer rope. So if I first create this X, right? So if I just do double fisherman, I just have to cross. But to do triple fisherman, I do one more wrap and still going under the cross, pull it tight, flip to tie on the other hand, create an X and do one more wrap. Okay, this is a bit short, so let me pull a bit longer. So create the X and one more wrap, and then go underneath the X. So now you can see that when I pull it together, so one side now, because it's triple fisherman, right? So the other side has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parallel strand, and this side will have this cross, but it's like a 2 strand cross, 1 strand, 2 strand cross, 1 strand. So now let's tie some hitches. First, girth hitch. So you can start with the sling, and then so you pass one end through on this fixed point, and then you pass through. So this is your girth hitch. Usually you tie like personal tether to your harness using this knot. And then sometimes if you want to tie girth hitch in from one end of loop, but this rope is so long, so it's very hard to pass do the same way, because see how I'm gonna pass this thing all the way through. So what you can do is you can form a bight and then fold it, and then so see, you can now, this is your girth hitch. Next one, clove hitch. So clove hitch, you can do it in the air, clove hitch. For me, I like to twist and twist. All right, and then you can see the two twists, the vertical line, this one is in front of the horizontal line, one's in the back of the horizontal line. And then we stack it together. And then now this is our clove hitch. And you can also tie it one-handed. First, you create a loop, and then you grab on underneath the loop and twist again. So this will be your clove hitch. Munter. And Munter, so you can also do the air Munter. So you can twist and twist. And remember, if we stack it together, it will be clove. But we fold it, that will be a Munter. All right, so that's Munter. And then you can see the Munter. So this is your low strand. And then if you change the low strand, the knot will flip, become like this. So this will be the low strand. All right, so you can also tie the Munter direct on the carabiner. So I would push this rope in. So say this is a low strand and the other side is a break strand. So I cross in the front and I go out from the back and then open this carabiner and I go in. So then now this is my Munter. And it's nice to know how to tie Munter on the carabiner if you want to eventually finish with Mule overhand. So once we finish the Munter, we lock the carabiner. So now you have a Munter, right? And then I want to get, so this is break strand, this low strand. I always tie off Munter with Mule overhand at the expected direction of load. So this is gonna be the load. And then I put two lows. So I put two strands together. I create a loop. And then I'm gonna pass a bight through this loop. And you can see that when I pass this bight through the loop, I'm crossing both of the strands. Okay, I pass this bight through. All right, and then I want to squeeze the toothpaste. So then this Mule overhand, this Mule knot is very close to the Munter, and I pull quite a lot of slack out. And then I'm gonna tie an overhand on the low strand. So wrap around, and I tie an overhand at the low strand. All right, so this is Munter, Mule, overhand. And then so eventually the tail of the overhand is pointing directly to the load. And then this Mule knot will wrap both strands, so it will trap both strands in the Mule knot. All right, so let's do it again. So we want to tie a Munter at the direction of load. So this is load. The break strand cross in the front, come back, and then come out from the back, clip through the carabiner. So you can see now is the right orientation. Close the carabiner. and then get this two ends row together, and then form a loop, pass a bight through, trap both strands, and then pull the bight through and squeeze the, like a toothpaste. So these two Munter hitch and Mule hitch are very close together. And then be generous about this because we need enough material to tie an overhand on the low strand. All right, so the Munter Mule overhand with the tail pointing toward the load. And when we release, so this is a brake strand, so we release, I have control over the brake strand. All right, and then get back to control of the brake strand. You can pull until this mule knot almost going to pop, and I'll hold this Munter to pull it through so the climber won't feel a lot of vibration. And then at the end, this is expected low, so they will just keep going. Munter Mule overhand. All right, right now let's tie some friction hitches. First of all, Prusik. So I'm trying to offset this bar tack so it will not get in my way. So I'm going to do a few girth hitch, right? Girth hitch, and then keep wrapping. Another girth hitch, and then maybe one more girth hitch. And then after that, pull it through and pull it tight. All right, so let's get it dressed. So see the bar tag is out of the way, and then the end product will be like this. Boom, 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 all parallel with one cross through. So this is our Prusik. Next, let's tie an Autoblock. Autoblock, still get the bar tag out of the way, and then I'll wrap it parallel, 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 and then at the end I'll just clip this two ends together. With a carabiner. All right, so I tug it because friction hitch we always do a function test. And then let's do a Klemheist. Still get the bar tag in one side, and then I suppose the directional low is this way. I wrap it toward the opposite end of the low, and then eventually from the directional low side, pass through dagger and pull it down. So this is Klemheist. So even though Klemheist work both direction, but this orientation worked better for this orientation. The last time I found it very useful is a butterfly. Still multiple ways to tie butterfly. So what I do is I drape the rope over me, and then I wrap it like this, and then I pull the middle strand out, and then pass through like this thing, and then this is my butterfly now, and you will see that one end's cross. Actually, this one end of rope is crossed, and the other is like parallel, crossed, and then these wings are on the same orientation, means this in front of the horizontal line. The other way to tie butterfly is you twist and then you twist again, right? So you form like a feet, like an A. And it doesn't matter you turn this way or turn this way, but if I turn this way, I turn it and then I go all the way down and I come back in the middle one. So you can see the end product of the butterfly is the same. So one side is crossed, and the other side, the two strands is parallel, and then the wings are on the same orientation. If this side is both up in front of the horizontal and this side is both in the back of horizontal. So that's butterfly.